from Berkshire Bike and Board, and this is a Specialized Globe Haul ST electric cargo bike. So, what does that mean? Globe is a new category introduced by Specialized. It is still underneath the Specialized umbrella, but they decided to give it like a new, we'll call it surname, to kind of represent a slight deviation from the normal Specialized company products. One of their main goals is to be the best in class in any class, essentially. So it gets interesting when you talk about price points in electric bicycles, because this is a sub $3,000 bike. It would be a mistake probably to call it the best e-bike ever made, but as we start to see the e-bike category segment into different categories, you could argue that what Specialized tried to do here is make the best-in-class electric cargo bike sub $3,000 maybe? I'm not going to be the one that decides whether or not they won that competition, but they gave it a pretty good shot. Let's put it that way. A couple of basic features about this bike that I want to go over. 700-watt hub drive motor, 772 watt-hour battery, comes equipped with a throttle, kind of, and I'll get to that later. 1500 lumen front light, 50 lumen tail light, all integrated into the main battery ecosystem. It comes equipped with an MIK fender, front and rear, a massively adjustable front, we'll call it quill stem, and a massively adjustable seat post. This is a 20 times 3.5, and they're calling it the Carless Whisper tire, which is an amazing name. I think this is one of the best things that Specialized did on this bike. That is the basic overview of the bicycle. Okay, so the best thing that Specialized did on this bike, I would say, is they put a center mount kickstand on the bike. We've been praying to the e-bike gods for one of these for a long time now. The question is why? E-bikes are heavy. This bike is probably between 50 and 70 pounds, somewhere around there. It maxed out the Dream Crusher, aka scale downstairs. We don't exactly know, but I'll say 65 pounds, give or take. 65 pounds on a rear mount, traditional, or even center mount bicycle kickstand. There's too much leverage and it tips it over. So what happens is you buy an electric bike, you spend $4,000 on a bike, and you take it home, you put the kickstand down, and 3 days later you bring it back to the bike shop and your kickstand is broken. That is not going to happen on this bike. This thing is beefy, it's durable. Specialized has spec'd this bike out essentially to have a carrying capacity of 419 pounds. Rider and cargo. I'm 175 pounds, give or take, depending on the day. That gives me 250 pounds, give or take, of cargo carrying capacity on a kickstand that will not break. Specialized specs this bike without a throttle. There's probably some reasons for that. My guess is going to be because they want to be able to sell it as a Class 3 e-bike. Again, Class 3 means 28 miles an hour with no throttle. I don't know all the specifics on this, but I do know that you can buy an aftermarket throttle. This one has it right there. I would say it's probably the most fun feature on the bicycle. Call me lazy, call me old, I don't care. I like a throttle when I'm riding a bike into town to grab some groceries. Bike riding is supposed to be fun. It doesn't always need to be that serious, and the throttle is a great addition if you want to have fun. They're trying to compete with the car industry, essentially, with this bike. No one's really saying that, but that's what's happening. If you think about a car, trunk, store stuff on the roof, store stuff on the back. One of the most exciting things about this bike, and I think something that Specialized does really well, is the ability to carry just about anything. Rider plus cargo up to 419 pounds, so depending on how much you weigh, that's a lot of stuff. Where are you going to carry it? There is, we'll call them tubs or totes that go in the front, the rear. There is a hand-in-any spot for like a pizza rack type thing on the front where they can hold a big old basket of goodies. There's a cool little seat thing that goes on here. There's some shrouds so that you don't get your feet stuck in the wheel. Grocery store, farmer's market, coffee shop, bank deposits if you're carrying a whole bunch of cash, go fishing, picnic with your friends. I mean, the list goes on and on, but I think it'll be really cool to see what accessories Specialized times Globe come out with to kit this thing out to be pretty cool. So more on that to come. One size fits all. You can only buy this bike in one size. It is the best thing ever besides all the other best things they did about this bike. Why? Because sizes are confusing to people. This type of person is not going to try and get in the most aerodynamic riding position while riding the bicycle, so they're not that concerned with like the exact nature of their riding position. They want to be upright, they want to be comfortable, they want to feel secure and stable. This bike allows you to do that. How? That goes up and down like a regular seat post. Then there's another seat post right there that if I had a tool I would loosen up, and then the whole thing would go up and down. It fits somewhere between like 96% of the population. Give me a size range.
4'8" to 6'6".
4'8" to 6'6", although I think that could probably be even stretched beyond that. That's the back. In the front, this is a quill stem. Kids, you've probably never heard of a quill stem, but essentially what it is this is all pulled together in here. I can loosen a bolt here and bring this thing up somewhere to the tune of like an additional 12 inches, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, they did a good job on this thing. Rear passenger ability, storage, accessory. Essentially, this thing is made to be able to put a kid on the back. It sounds dangerous. It probably is slightly dangerous, but what's fun if it's not a little bit dangerous? Nothing. There's an accessory that you can buy that's a seat right here. There is a back kind of pad thing which helps to keep everybody where they're supposed to be. There's foot pegs, there's shrouds, so you keep your feet on the outside. It's going to be awesome. I've not ridden it with a passenger yet, but I will tell you that if I had a wee young lad, they would be on the back of this thing for sure. A couple things regarding this bike regarding fit and finish. So again, this bike is built to go against like the Aventins and the Rad Powers and a lot of other kind of direct-to-consumer e-bike brands in the world. I would say that in true to Specialized form, they probably had a hard time getting exactly there price-wise because they went above and beyond on fit and finish. So, a couple things to note that are not always visible to the naked eye. Cables, they're super tight, they're organized, they're neat, they're clean, they look good. Does it matter? Yes, it matters. I don't particularly love flat block bikes because I feel like they get dirty, but this thing is kind of like a stealth bomber, so I think it does look pretty good. Everything is like made out of metal, you know? There's not a lot of plastic on this thing. There's not a lot of things on here that look like they're really gonna break. The tubing is big, the welds are bold. It's beefy. We just absolutely terrorized this thing on the parking lot and it handled it no problem. I'm not the owner of this personal bike, but I tried to take it off the jump. The owner got a little bit mad at me, but I think it would have handled it no problem. Couple other things that are kind of cool. Down here, there's this big kind of radiator looking thing. I'm not exactly how it works quite yet, but what I believe it does is something about the battery is creating a lot of heat, obviously, that's standard. And the heat is kind of being flushed out into the frame, and this radiator shroudy type thing is going to get cool from air, and it's going to help to dissipate a lot of the heat from the battery, which is pretty cool. You're not going to find that on some super budget e-bikes. All in all, a couple things they did well. Battery and motor are super nice, really well designed, organized, put together. I think in the sub $3,000 e-bike market for cargo bikes, this is probably going to be something that you see stands the test of time and is super reliable. We haven't really ridden it too much yet, so I'm not going to go too far into all of that kind of stuff. What I'll say is this: if you like what you saw, give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and like always, round up for distance, round up for time. Thanks for watching.